Is this the bartending school?
You're late.
Oh, it's been a very busy day, sir.
Get behind the bar.
Right. I'm not really a bartender.
Keep coming late, you'll never be a bartender. I said a green vest. Where's your green vest? What is your name?
Columbo, homicide police.
Oh, you're the one who called?
Yes, sir.
Right over here. All right, the rest of you start in your workbooks. Lesson 1, Shirley Temples. Get it right. Sorry about that, Lieutenant. How can I help you?
It's this photograph, sir. One of my homicide victims. He had some of your matches from that Buckets bar. They were in his pocket. Would you recognize this man at all, sir?
Sure. He was in last night. First-timer. But the matches don't match.
Excuse me?
I didn't give him the matches. The lady asked for matches. She smoked. The one he picked up.
This lady, would I be far wrong if I said she was a very attractive lady, all dressed in black, wearing a man's black hat?
About like that. I wasn't paying much attention, so I can't tell you much. Me, I'm just a bartender. I don't have what you might call a trained policeman's eye.
Well, you just tell me what little you know.
Well, the lady's another first-timer. Professional working girl. Called herself Lisa with no last name. If you believe Lisa's a real name, you believe anything. Anyway, Lisa, with no last name, knew the playbook. Comes on bold and advertises herself. Your guy walks in, she gives him the buzz. Guy hits. No wasted time. In 2 seconds, they are very cozy. No strains, 2 bugs in a rug, you know what I'm saying? He lays some cash on her, and out they go about 9, maybe 9:15, as happy as clams. That is for you, pal.
That's some observation for a man who wasn't paying attention.
Taste that. Tell me what you think.
Well, that's very generous, sir. That's very refreshing.
That's my Shirley Temple.
An interesting Shirley Temple. Touch of dryness, but a light, sweet bouquet. Very nice. You're a very good bartender, sir. But I think you would make a terrific detective.
I love the work I got, Lieutenant.
So do I, sir. Excuse me stopping by your house like this, Mr. Brady, but I got some more news. Miss Janigan, she was just leaving. She seemed very upset, sir.
She's upset. I'm upset. Do we have to do this now, Lieutenant?
Well, ordinarily, I wouldn't even trouble you, Mr. Brady, but I've got some very encouraging news. The Albany police, sir, they traced Mr. Fisher's place of employment, men's wear store. Seems he told him he needed a day off for some dental work. That's the day he died here in L.A. Sir, I'm expecting 2 acquaintances. They're coming in a second car. Just let me see if they got the right house. Oh! Brought you candy bar. I know you got a sweet tooth.
How did he get here?
You mean Mr. Fisher? By plane, sir. He arrived that morning. We traced the return ticket, sir. The return? Right in here, fellas. This is the house. Down the stairs. We're in the living room. Where was I, sir?
Len had arrived that morning and you traced his return ticket?
A return ticket for 11 o'clock the same night, sir.
You mean he only planned on being here for the one day?
Just a day, sir. I'm sure of it. I checked that ticket twice. In that morning, out that night. That's one day. Mr. Sewell, Mr. Cardassian, Mr. Alec Brady.
Good evening.
How do you do? How do you do?
Strange, isn't it strange? He's coming here for just one day.
Yes, strange. He didn't call me.
You never heard from him at all?
No, I told you, Lieutenant, not for 3 years.
Right. You told me, right? Archie. Mr. Sewell. He's a new detective. He's working his way up. Tell Mr. Brady where you first encountered Mr. Cardassian?
That was on Century Boulevard.
Not at the airport?
No,
I thought it was at the airport.
Century Boulevard.
That's where you first showed him Mr. Fisher's picture?
Yes, sir. And he recognized it.
Oh, Mr. Cardassian, he's a cab driver from Iran.
Yes, sir.
I hope things are going well for you here, sir.
Thank you.
Now, you recognize this man, and you remember picking him up at the airport.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Brady, you're not going to believe this. Do you know where Mr. Cardassian took Mr. Fisher?
Lieutenant, I couldn't possibly know. Look, I think you better just come out and tell me what you want to tell me.
He took him to the studio, sir. To your very own studio.
The studio.
I didn't leave him off at the studio. I took him to the tour center.
The tour center. You mentioned that. That's my mistake. The tour center. You know, the tour center. Where the visitors come to take the tour.
Yes, I know. The tour center, Lieutenant. What was Len doing at the tour center?
It is. It's strange, isn't it? Hard to believe a man would fly all the way from Albany, New York, just to see the studio, then fly right back home again. Can you think of any reason?
No! No. No, it's baffling.
It is. It's all very puzzling. Okay. Mr. Sewell, Mr. Cardassian, we've taken enough of Mr. Brady's time. Don't bother to see us out, sir. I know it looks like the trail ends at the tour center, sir, but we've come a long way. Don't give up on me yet. Good night, sir.
Good night, sir.
Nice meeting you.
Sweet dreams. What a house.
Very nice house.
Did I tell you he was a director?
A director?
He's a great director. Oh, yeah? That's how he got this house.
What does he do, TV?
Holy smoke. His last one. Just 1 second, sir. Hold the phone. Let me get this straight. The lady in black, she went in there. She went in that door right there.
She went in, she never came out.
And you waited.
Until I asked the attendant to go see if she was in there.
And she wasn't there.
Nobody was there.
Who came out?
How do I know, Lieutenant? Ladies went in, ladies came out.
Just ordinary ladies?
Ordinary ladies.
Ordinary ladies. Did any of these ladies have a suitcase, a package? Were they carrying a bag?
I don't know,
something
Lieutenant.
like that?
I wasn't looking for bags or packages. I was waiting for this very exotic brunette.
Miss Hendricks, please, ma'am. Thank you very much, Mr. Lenz. Just check with Sergeant Burke. Keep him informed as to your whereabouts. Ma'am, I'm gonna have to go in there. Would you guard the door, ma'am?
The ladies' room? But it's almost intermission,
Just
Lieutenant.
1 minute, ma'am. 1 minute.
Oh, dear. Lieutenant.
What was he doing in
Sorry,
there?
ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
Shame.
Excuse me. No, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Oh, sir. Oh, dear.
Кто ты такой? Сюда нельзя заходить просто так, без разрешения.
Excuse me, ma'am. Trash?
No.
Where do you dump the trash?
Но ты ничего не трогай, пока не объяснишься.
No. Police, ma'am. Police. See? Hey, police. See, police.
Полисбой!
Hey, trash?
Вы все
Where-
одинаковые.
Say, where do you
О,
dump the
грязные
trash?
здесь.
No,
Ну,
no,
я
no,
его
no, no.
почищу.
No, the trash. Where do you put the trash?
Да, да, прекрасно.
No,
всё
no,
хорошо.
trash. Where's the trash?
Что тебе надо?
No,
Что,
no,
мистер?
no,
Ну,
no
что-
cleaning. No, no, no.
Что ты
No cleaning.
ищешь?
See,
Мне
empty.
непонятно.
No, the trash.
Ну, что ты
The big
руками
trash.
мотаешь?
No,
Я
no,
не понимаю.
trash, man. See, trash,
Ой,
trash.
осторожно, ты
Go
не
into
штуки
the...
на пол. Падает, ты смотри сюда. Нет,
Нет,
надеюсь,
нет,
я
нет.
эту штуку
Trouble.
уже
Piccolo,
чистила.
grande,
Я ее уже чистила. Только ты мне наделываешь. Делать нельзя,
no.
не понимаю тебя.
Grande trash,
Комната
grande.
тоже я. Ну, что ты ищешь так срочно? Какие черти тебя гоняют? Ты смотри, сколько мусора ты мне здесь наделал. Ты что ты? Ты сумасшедший? А? Полицейские вы все дураки. Это то, что ты искал?
That's it. I found it. Mr. Brady. Mr. Brady, sir. Lieutenant Columbo.
Yes, Lieutenant. What is it?
Just wanted to say goodbye for now, sir.
Bring me down, fellas. Are you leaving us, Lieutenant?
Well, it's the case, sir. It's taken a whole new turn. Gonna have to spend some time with the narcotics boys. So we won't be seeing each other for a while.
Well, you've got me convinced there's such a thing as too much reality, Lieutenant.
Excuse me, sir.
You've got me convinced that a real detective doesn't belong in the movies.
Well, maybe we can talk about that again. Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye, Lieutenant. Goodbye, Lieutenant. Thank you. Well, Rose, where do we begin?
I didn't know we were beginning anything except these.
Maybe it's an ending, then. For me and you. It's time to start thinking about another job, Rose.
Oh, you mean in a secretary?
Whatever.
Old Rose, young Alex. Rose too old for Alex, Alex too young for Rose.
Excuse me? Here we are.
I think there's something you ought to know about me, Alex. I'm still going to enjoy my lunch. Alex, did you remember to tell that nice Lieutenant Columbo about your phone call from Len Fisher?
What difference does that make?
I thought I heard you telling him that you hadn't heard from your friend Len Fisher. Not for 3 years. But Mr. Fisher called the other day and you picked up the call. And no one was there. Remember, Alex?
No, thank you. That's not a very interesting subject, Rose. Why bring that up?
I remembered his name, Len Fisher. My mother's maiden name was Fisher. Try your salmon, Alex. It's very good. I was checking the old phone sheets yesterday. One page was missing. For the day Mr. Fisher called. Did you know it was missing, Alex?
No. But if it was missing, I'm sure that you just threw it out by mistake, Rose. You're talking about leaving? Finding another job? I don't want you to do that, Rosie.
Oh, I never leave you, Alex. I was thinking about a long, paid vacation. Maybe a cruise, maybe around the world. I've always dreamed about something like that. But then I'd come back to you. What do you think?
Is something wrong with your salmon, sir?
No, just take it away. I think you deserve a rest, Rose. My treat for being a loyal secretary. I'll have my travel agent get in touch with you.
You really should have tried the salmon, Alex.
Are you sensing something?
Please, Lieutenant.
Sorry, sir. Sorry.
There is an emotional mist in this place. A residue of despair and hopelessness. Pain beyond belief. And here, an ache of anguish as tangible as brick. Oppressive. A passion to escape from life itself. Torment, death, and freedom to end it all. I'm sorry, Lieutenant. I don't think I can get any more.
Suicide?
What a terrible, terrible way to die.
That's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. To draw all that right out of the air.
The atmosphere.
The residue.
Yeah.
Suicide.
So it seems.
But it couldn't have been suicide.
The emotional track was as strong as perfume.
Why would a man commit suicide, sir?
I observed him to be a broken man. Well, after his test with the Institute, well, his entire universe was shattered. After his lifelong claim that all psychics were frauds, well, he had nowhere left to stand.
Well, that could explain suicide, sir, but what about this?
Cabbage.
Cabbage? And where do you see this? A 3-pound corned beef.
Corned beef?
Corned beef and cabbage, sir. Why would a man go to the market and buy yourself a 3-pound corned beef and pick out 2 head of cabbage and then go home and cut off his own head?
Well, he could have bought these things at any time, Lieutenant.
You're right again, sir, but what about this? The receipt from the market. You see the time and the date? Do you see what I mean, sir?
Yes, Lieutenant. Then I agree. We must eliminate suicide. As you understand suicide. Still, my impressions of this place are pain, despair, and hopelessness. Suicide has many modes. Sometimes the victim can disguise it to himself, provoke an accident, and perish. An accident, Lieutenant.
That's terrific sensing, sir. An accident that the victim wants to happen.
Exactly.
But it couldn't have been an accident.
I don't think I follow.
It's this screwdriver, sir. To the guillotine, please. It's the same screwdriver that we found in the victim's hand when we found him lying like this. Only without a head, sir. No head and a screwdriver. Can you see how the screwdriver is in his hand, sir?
Yes, Lieutenant. I can see very clearly.
Now, in this position, before the blade came down, the only screws he could reach were here. Right here. right here inside this track, sir. Like this, sir. But this screwdriver, this is just a regular screwdriver. What they call a slotted screwdriver for regular screws. But if you look at this screw, sir, you see here? You see that kind of screw? That's a Phillips head screw. That's a completely different kind of screw. And a Phillips head screw, that takes a completely different kind of screwdriver. Like this one here, sir. And we found it on the floor along with other tools near the guillotine. Do you see the difference, sir? Do you see what that means, sir?
What do you think it means, Lieutenant?
Well, to me, it means that Mr. Dyson couldn't have had the slotted screwdriver in his hand, not when he died. What would he be doing with it? And it means that Mr. Dyson must have been working with the Phillips head screwdriver. And when he died, the Phillips head screwdriver, it fell on the floor like this. And here's the really interesting part. Somebody who was here must have picked up the other screwdriver by mistake and put it into Mr. Dyson's hand, maybe to make it look like an accident. But it wasn't an accident, sir. That's what these two screwdrivers tell us.
Well, if it couldn't have been an accident, Lieutenant, and it couldn't have been suicide, are you intimating that Max Dyson was, murdered?
Oh, no, sir. I'm saying straight out that the man was murdered. Because we have to consider this, too. When the police came, they found this part, what they call a collar. It was lying here like this, way over here. And the lab boys, they found strong traces of blood. Mr. Dyson's blood on this collar. Which means that when he was killed, the collar was like this. And the murderer, would that be the same one that put the screwdriver back into Mr. Dyson's hand? And the murderer, he took the collar off and he laid it over here. So all of this would look like an accident. But it certainly was a murder, sir.
But the newspaper said that the workshop was locked from the inside. 2 doors, both locked.
Yes, sir. The elevator door and the door to the stairs.
Well, if that's true, and Max Dyson was murdered, how did the murderer get out?
That is very puzzling, Mr. Blake. Very puzzling indeed. And I was hoping you could help us with that.
Me? How could I?
Vibration, sir. Maybe what the murderer was feeling or thinking.
Well, so far, Lieutenant, I seem to be picking up all the wrong vibrations. I'm sorry, I don't seem to have been very much help.
Well, don't you worry about it, Mr. Blake. Now that we come this far, we're certainly going to find the murderer. And when we do, maybe you can help us by reading his mind. Just one more thing.